Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creativity Hive's weekly show. My name is Miriam Haugen. I'm part of the Creativity Hive team. We help teach creatives how to make impactful storytelling videos through one-on-one teaching and live group coaching. And this week, our show is a spotlight on Neil Haugen. And so I'm bringing...
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So this week, as Miriam said, it's a spotlight on Neil Haugen. We're going to do a series of these on different people, but we thought we'd begin with, by far and large, one of the most important people that I know, and that's Neil Haugen. So Neil, this is how it's going to work, guys. I'm gonna kind of so-called interview Neil with a number of questions that just are kind of off the cuff. It's not been rehearsed. It's not been written down. I haven't thought them up. And Neil's going to kind of answer them in the span of 2 minutes per question, so that we can get into Neil's mind from a different perspective than general questions would. So Neil, whenever you're ready.
And I have to say, I have no idea what Mo is going to be asking about. I have not seen anything, and he's been kind of laughing about this. So we'll see what kind of questions Mo is coming up with. I have no clue.
I'm going to be coming up with questions without a script, without a rehearsal. It's going to be questions coming from me from the amount of time I know you and understand you, but I want to understand a little bit more, and I want to get it done in a kind of particular space of time. So when you're ready,
anytime.
Let me know. All right. So this is everyone. This is Neil Haugen. You've seen him quite a number of times on Creativity-Hive. Up on the top right is Miriam Haugen, Neil's lovely, beautiful wife, who's the creative director of the show. She puts the content together, and we also get her on Spotlight, by the way. But what I wanted to try to get to, Neil, is first and foremost, and here's where your 2 minutes kind of begin. I'll let you with that when it does. Could you tell me what the greatest creative experience you've ever had in your lifetime is? Starting now.
Our children, our 3 children. They have been an amazing thing to watch and to help to grow and mature, to keep them intrigued about things, to keep them learning and growing. And they're all adults now. But yeah, the greatest creativity has been that. And the second one would be working with Miriam to help her get more confident in her own abilities and capabilities as both a master photographer and as a business person, which has been a huge part of my life, our entire relationship.
Fantastic. Neil's done it in less than 2 minutes, which is exemplary. Right. So the second question would be, what is your greatest achievement within the Adobe ecosystem?
I would say that's probably the number of correct answers that I've been given over the last 7 or 8 years. If you go look at my profile, it's kind of an impressive number of correct answers, but I lost, they changed forms from the software underneath from Jive to Chorus here about 2 years ago. And I lost a bit over a third of my correct answers. And on the old Jive thing, you could actually see where you were. And I hadn't ever actually paid that much attention until we were coming up near the end of it. And they were saying that, if you want to get a chance to see where you are in this list, go ahead and check. And so I didn't even know there was a way you could. So I went ahead and looked, and it was like, holy... because there's these people that I had looked up to, not only within the Premiere Pro, but from being in what's now the Adobe Community Experience or Expert Group. It was Adobe Community Professionals, and it was it's been several things over the years. There's some people that I knew from Photoshop and other things that forums that I was really impressed with. Wow, this is an incredibly knowledgeable person, and find that most of those, my number of correct posts, and I had done it in less years, and I was like in the top 10 or 12 for like all time correct posts, and I was looking at that and going, wow, how did that happen? But um, it just
Thank you, Neil.
like helping.
Thank you, Neil. That was great. That was your 2 minutes again. Okay, so for question number 3, what do you not like about the creative industry?
That on one hand, people are so critical of persons, and on the other hand, not frequently willing to look critically at their own output, to separate themselves personally from the projects and everything they're working on, or to separate themselves from your views, because like a constant issue on the Adobe forums, as it is on the Blackmagic forums, as it is on the Lift Gamma Gain, which is a colorist forum with people primarily working in Resolve and Baselight. You frequently get people that can't separate their personal self identity or ego from their ideas. And so if they say that they like this part of the user interface, but this part is stupid, they can't accept if somebody else says, well, actually, that's the most useful part to me. It's that inability to accept the differences. I'm very aware that I don't expect anybody else to have exactly my opinion on anything. And for a lot of people, that seems to be a strange concept, because they assume if they think something, that is the only way that anybody should be thinking on it. And if you think differently, you're wrong, and you're probably, I don't know, evil or stupid or something, rather than just, yeah, okay, so we think differently.
Perfect. Thank you. Again, within time. Fantastic. Okay, now the question.
Now, I'm going to kick in here and say that for people that wonder about in time, okay, I'm on the autism spectrum, and I am well known for my ability to fill in with all the details that you didn't know you needed to ask about.
Yes,
but you did need to know.
So the question that I've always been meaning to ask you, and if you get it within 2 minutes, you win the prize. Yeah. Is what on earth led you to become such an integrated and integral part of the Adobe, again, the ecosystem, the Resolve ecosystem, the colorist ecosystem, the post-production ecosystem, and I'd like you to leave out the photographic background. Let's assume the photographic background never happened in your life. Let's erase it for a second. And you had to just go from college to this. What were the magnetic portions that drew you to this particular field and not made you a chicken farmer or made you an astronaut or led you down any other path?
I love making and manipulating images. And it is something that my brain just is essentially addicted to, and especially the color. That is an easy thing for me to handle. As an autistic person, I do have struggles with executive function disorder at times, where things are hard to make a decision on. And editing, for me, can be very frustrating and very painful, because you have to make all these decisions about cutting right here or right there, or this kind of stuff. And a lot of people love to do that. For me, that's actually at times mentally painful. But working on color, Oh my God. Color and tonal changes, your contrast ratios and everything. That is just, I can get involved with that and hours pass. And I think I've been at it for 10 minutes and it's been 6 hours. So it's the imagery more than anything else. And then of course with video, you throw in the sound and whoa, I mean, who doesn't love playing with sound, right? Well, okay, so a lot of people don't, but yeah, the visual, it's the stimulation, it's the visual stimulation and the ear stimulation.
Okay, so in total, you won the prize. So basically, it's the manipulation of content so that it can become something that's beautiful or different or something that's needed by a production team
Right.
or director, and the manipulation of that is quite intriguing to you and this is why you lead yourself more towards the colorist role rather than more the editing role, from my understanding, because as most people know and some people might not know, Neil is actually a contributing author at Mixing Light. And
Just I hear a sweet little now. God, how old is she?
Sweet's not the right word. Trust me, you've got the word all wrong. It's not sweet anymore. It's far from sweet. It's a little monster. It's become a total little monster, Neil.
I'm a grandparent type, so for me that's sweet. And if she's tormenting her parents, you go, Afsana, you go.
So it's not. It's well. Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. So. Oh yeah, okay. So it's the imagery and being able to make something look different, feel different, actually, rather than look is what I'm understanding.
Right.
That you change the look and it becomes a different feeling. You change the music and you feel a different emotion. So for you, from what I'm understanding, is that you enjoy using emotional changes in your imagery, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Now,
and then the other thing is, I of course want to understand both why that does make an emotional change and how the change I'm making works inside the program.
Right. Which then leads you to get onto the forums and explore and help people so that they can get a clearer understanding of how the software actually allows you to manipulate and why you're manipulating and why should you and then what you should use.
Correct.
So digging deep into Neil's brain here. Lovely. Neil's been, answering a lot of questions on the ACP forums. He's one of the leading contributing guys, won numerous awards in there and accolades, and has, is a very respected and renowned member of the ACP and teams and other areas where he offers advice. He also does a lot of blogging, fantastic blogs. So just one really quick yes or no question. You enjoy teaching people? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So this is the next question, and you have 2 minutes again. What is it like teaching Miriam how to edit?
It's it's an interesting experience. It's great practice for me. And it's of course great practice for her, but it's our brains function very differently, and so one of the things that is such a great bit about me teaching Miriam how to do editing is it forces me to think about how a very, very different brain works. And of course, then you have to go, well, if I'm going to teach this person, I have to learn to anticipate how their brain might be working. And so give them the bit that is escaping them at the moment that will help answer and move them forward. And it's that learning to anticipate another brain and how it sees things and how it works that it's very useful, and it's been very good for me to work in teaching Miriam. I've found that an amazing learning experience for me.
In what way? Does it teach you a little more patience as well? And does it?
At times there is a bit more patience function in it, but a lot of it is, Miriam and I met here in Monmouth at Oregon, what was then Oregon College of Education. We were both studying to be teachers. And Miriam was planning on being a music K-12, kindergarten through 12. And I was in a high school program for English Lit major with minors in PE and music. And one of the buildings has a phrase on it: "Those who dare teach must never cease to learn." And
thank you, Mr. Neil. Your time is up.
Yep.
For your 2 minutes, appreciate it. Sorry to cut you short, but
hey,
there's a
that's the
big
answer.
buzzer on my screen that's just ringing in my ears that you guys can't hear at this point in time. Which comes, the next question. If you had to produce, shoot, direct, edit an independent film, what do you think the storyline would be and why?
Why would you want me to do that? That's an thing that I've not thought of. It would probably be just something about someone's daily life and some seemingly insignificant decision that changed the course of their life and that of people around them, because that's the kind of thing that happens all the time.
Like the phone ringing mid-interview,
like the phone ringing from
life, right?
from the car
like
doctor, which we'll talk with the car doctor afterwards.
Okay. So it's about a change in events in a person's life that would significantly change. Could you perhaps give me an example?
There are quite frequently little things like just from our own life. Look at two decisions. I wanted to go to Pacific Lutheran University, but we couldn't afford that. My next choice was Southern Oregon State College, which gave me a lot of scholarship, but I had braces on. I'd had them for 3 years, and my dentist was telling me I'm going to have them for another 3 years, right? And he points out that if I go down there, that would be far enough away that I wouldn't be able to do the monthly appointments up here with him. And so I'd have to transfer to another doctor down there. It would add probably a year. And of course, would mean that rather than having paid for the whole thing, as we'd already finished paying for it, we'd have to start paying for it month by month again. So a tremendous cost, and probably another 2 or 3 years it would add to the total.
Thank you, Neil. Your
process.
time's up.
Well, your answer's not done yet. And so I ended up coming up to OCE as as my third choice, the one I didn't want to do, but it was because I came to OCE that I met, that lady in the upper corner.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the buzzer up running in the background when it's happened. Okay, so we understand that. If you had to get up and look in the mirror, right? Mm-hmm. So you have this mirror. Do you have a square mirror? Do you have a round mirror in your bathroom?
It's square, rectangular.
Okay, a rectangular mirror. And you could kind of do this to it, and then you're going to kind of go through it like the Matrix almost, right? Like Mercury feel. What would you find or hope to find on the other side?
No clue.
What would you wish to find on the other side?
Maybe some, a better understanding of how to relate with the many people that find me odd or frustrating or difficult to relate to because our brains are different. That's been a huge source of frustration in my adult life. And, and it's one of those things that we didn't know I was autistic until we had two of our 3 kids were diagnosed. And then in studying what it is, I realized why there's been so many odd interactions and why some people get so angry with me just being in the room. I mean, I'm one of 400 people in the room. They see me and they get angry. I've never even talked with them. What? But understanding what the heck is really going on there.
And here I thought, Neil, well, if it was me, I'd be like, I'd find a really big house and 17 Lamborghinis, and just a big pool, and that's what would be on the other side of the world. But it's a great answer nonetheless. So you would try to find explanations behind things that are not quite evident to you on a daily basis, which
Correct.
makes a very, very interesting answer. Okay, so you won the prize there again. You came in under time. Whew, no buzz. All right. In terms of you being a post-production person, a colorist, and being in the tech field, if you could choose anything beside that particular field to be in, but still within the tech field, what do you think you might choose and why?
Well, I don't really know. You know, I have had a number of interests. So I could have done quite a number of different things and been happy. Marine biology, fascinating, and it's one of those things to realize that I could have, if I decided to, I could have chased after marine biology and found that a very interesting field. So yeah, my brain can do all kinds of things in all kinds of ways. It only works in one way. It's an analysis and synthesis machine, but that can be useful for all kinds of things. And I'm like a magpie, just, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. And so, yeah, it's an excellent question that I can't really answer.
Marine biology, because
it was just interesting, the information that I found out. Of course, you have to take so many required classes, and I had to take a required class, and a lot of people just took like biology 101, biology 201, and well, you had to take 3 classes in biological sciences kind of things. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I don't have to take a third straight biology class. They got marine biology. And so I took that instead. And that was one of the more fascinating classes I had in college. I really enjoyed the class. And of course, it's like with anything else I did in school. The classes that I enjoyed, I got A's on easily. And the classes that I found boring, I forget to attend. Oh, damn, I had that class.
That's the buzzer I hear. Okay.
Wow.
So that's really interesting. Here's a quite an interesting question for you. You have Apple, you have Netflix, and you have Tesla, right? 3 separate companies. If you had the choice to work for one of them, just one, salary would be the same, everything, perks all the same, but you could choose to work for one of those companies, what would drive you to choose that particular company?
Not Netflix. I have certain issues with Netflix. Tesla or Apple? That's a good question. I've never owned one piece of Apple kit in my life. Nothing. And have been, have always looked at Apple as being, the old kindergartner. If something was mine yesterday and I want it back, it's mine. If I gave away something, it's mine if I want it. If you have something, it's mine if I want it. The kindergartner thing. And Tesla, at least I think I'd find Tesla more interesting for some of the stuff that they're trying to develop there. And that would probably be it. I would find the stuff that Tesla is trying to develop more interesting.
So you would choose Tesla once again because It's intriguing and it fascinates you. All right.
I have to go with what is going to intrigue my mind, or I'm not going to do it at all.
That concludes part 1 of our spotlight on Neil Haugen. Join us next week for part 2.